So it happened to be just the day before the Jewish festival of Hanukkah, the Hilula of a great Ethiopian rabbi. His name was Rabbi Kes Elias Mahart. Very, very famous rabbi of his time. A rabbi I believe we've spoken about on various occasions before, and a very, very decorative history. He was born in the year 1931. He passed away in 2002. He was nearly about approximately 71 years of age at the time. He passed away. Now, it's actually interesting. He would actually be born from, I think his father's name was, it says, Kes Elias Mahart, Nolad La'aviv Elias Sachlu, and his mother. I'm not sure what his mother's name was. In the year 1931, in the Kfar, in the village of the Bal Mashcha, respectively. I think in the Smayan in Ethiopia, respectively. And remember, we've spoken about probably already in the series about a good 8 to 10 rabbis that actually came from Ethiopia of yesteryear. It's always a privilege to bring our diversity, let's just say, in of itself and celebrate it and explore just various different great interesting countries of yesteryear. So he would be over there, 1931. I believe he would learn his Torah, Reshit Torato, Lamad Mepi Aviv. He would actually learn under auspices of his father, Elias Sachlu. So seemingly he was a scholar in of its own right. Shlamad et limudei hakodesh bekochot atzmo. Through his own, let's just say, strength and will and resilience, he would actually want to himself just get imbued within regards to the Torah and become really rich within regards to that. And seemingly his father was definitely in a very good stead to, to imbue him in that brilliance. But Shanat's come with the year 1945. He was about, at that stage in time, around 14 years of age. Ava levado lilmod bekfar smayat malata. Respectively, he would actually move over there at that point in time when he was only about 14. He would be dwelling and toiling, let's just say, in Torah study. Now, more will get progress, let's just say. Come with the of Shin Yud Dalet in 1954. That stage in time, he's about 23 years of age. Shav el Kafro Daval Masra. So we'll go back to that specific village where he came from originally. Hechel et Hatmochoto Hamaasit Vasmuch lekes alidei hamnakusa. He'll be ordained and become a kes through his Abba Reuven Mansa, if I'm not mistaken, someone that we've spoken about, I believe, on various occasions over here beforehand. Anyone tuning in, welcome to our community as we're exploring the history of a great Ethiopian rabbi, a rabbi I believe we've mentioned about on various occasions before here inside the series. So always very, very inviting to hear more. That is one thing I would definitely say for sure. Okay, so it's interesting. So after moving to all these different places and getting grandiose training in of itself through various different rabbis, I believe he would get married. And Kes Elias Mahart Nasa Isha would get married. I believe they would have 9 children. Lachab Tirata Nasa Isha. Shlosha Yildim. So sadly, I think they lost children, I think, on the way going to Israel. What's interesting is they would actually travel, report over here, through Sudan. And it's interesting because we're recording historic videos of great, famous different countries, just to say, and about what actually went on all over the Jewish diaspora. And we did speak about Sudan over the last few weeks over here. And here we are hearing that some of the Ethiopian, not just community members, rabbis would actually travel through Sudan. So Sudan would be fortunate enough to have some great scholars actually coming in, albeit maybe it was in, let's just say, a journey onto Eretz Israel of itself. So that's very interesting to point out. Okay, Kes Elias Mahart. Okay, so Shimesh Kes Kafar Holdato Dabal Masra. He will become the Kes over there. He will become, let's just say, the rabbi over there at that stage in time. So that will be a great position. Who Yasad Beit Knesset Bakvar. He will actually institute a synagogue inside this village. Limed Musar. They would be teaching ethical teachings, Musar. Varbit Torah Barabim. He really an outreach worker, really trying to spread Torah and the greatness within regards to Hashem's Torah and so on and so forth inside those vicinities. So how important that was and their undertakings. That's something that we very much will have to point out over here. Friends, anyone tuning in live, welcome to our community at the moment as we're exploring the history over here of a great rabbi we've spoken about, I believe, on various occasions over here inside this series. Okay, so just go on more. So he would work as Kes, as before, inside the village. Who Yisad Beit Knesset, I will form a synagogue there. Limed Musa Beit Torah Barabim. The Farnasto Asak B'Chaklaot. I think he was working more in agricultural, let's just say, sector in of itself. So he'll be toiling inside of that, doing importances over there. He would do various different farmings and so on and so forth for his living. He would personally care for, let's say, the financial and physical well-being of the needy inside the community. That was one of his undertakings he would do, and what was very, very important, let's just say, in of itself at that stage in time. So, yeah, you can just see the great kindness of the rabbis all throughout Jewish history, and that is very much illustrated also while we're speaking about the famous Kesser here. לפרנסתו עסק בחקלאות, ודאג בעצמו לרווחתם הכלכלית והפיזית של הנזקים בקהילה. So he was worried about the needy of the congregation, במיוחד נשים חד הוריות, especially some of the needy women, let's just say, in of its own right. So he was very, very worried about, their situation, the people that needed, let's just say, a good background and good support, needs support in of itself. So we can continue and state over here, friends, that more things, let's say, community b'miuchad, okay, who ahav shalom v'rodef shalom, he loved to pursue and chase after peace. Ha'adif l'vayes v'legesher al pnei ha'meriva v'adin, hu hanhig שבכל יום כיפורים מתאספים להתפלל יחדיו יהודים מכל כפרי הסביבה ולערוך משתה ולשבירת Hatzom Kol Shana Bekvar Acher. It's very unique and very special. What he actually offered at that stage in time, he instituted every Yom Kippur that Jews from surrounding villages gather to pray together and hold a feast to break the fast every year in a different village, respectively. So you can see he was really, really a community member and someone that was really doing huge amounts for the community in general over there. So anyone tuning in live, welcome to our community as we're exploring the history of famous Ethiopian Rabbi over here. So please, everyone, join and welcome. And we really, really appreciate all the fantastic feedback that we're getting at the moment. So I think more will actually occur at that stage in time. I think it was come with the year 1970. He would have like a connection with an irgun called Orat Olami. It would actually help very much within regards to building synagogues around that area. ומתן שירותי דת לכל היהודים בסביבתו. כך לקראת כל פסח היה סובב בין הקברים ומחלק מצוות. Respectively. So how important it is. Come on, 1978, בתקופה הטרור האדום, בה נרצחו כמיליון עוד אתיופים על ידי המשטר הטוטליטרי של הקולונל מנגיסטו היילה מריאס. So what actually occurred during this time period in 1978, I think it was Red Terror. About 1 million Ethiopians were murdered by the totalitarian regime of colonial Mengistu Haile Mariam, if I'm not mistaken. The Kes Elias Mahart was actually caught, I think, reported over distributing matzot inside this specific vicinity of himself. Nitpas Kes Elias Mahart be'et shehilek matzot be'echad akvarim. So he was actually distributing various matzot, possibly was connected to the festival of Passover at that point in time. Hu nikla בחשד שהוא סוכן נזרה, ונעשם בכך שהוא מחלק מתנות כדי לפתות את היהודים לעזוב את אתיופיה ולעלות לישראל. So more would actually, let's say he was accused of distributing gifts, let's just say, to entice Jews to leave Ethiopia and immigrate to Israel. And I think he was imprisoned in harsh conditions. Obviously his life was actually even in danger, he felt. And there was intervention of various different people and parties and organizations. He was released from prison 6 months later, but was forced to remain under house arrest. Later, he was recognized by the state of Israel. He was over the state when it says over here, Kes Elias Mahart nikla b'tanaim kashim v'nishkefa sakana lachayav. He was in danger of his life even. B'hit'arvut gormim shonim hu shochrar ma'asro כעבור חצי שנה, אך נאלץ להישאב מעצר בית. לימים הוכר על ידי מדינת ישראל כאסיר הציון. So he was recognized under that, like, let's say, title in of itself. Now more will actually occur, if I'm not mistaken. We're just going to take a short break now, and we're going to continue speaking about famous Ethiopian Rabbi. So please, everyone, just hold on a minute, and we're going to go on to 1980s territory. So please, everyone, I'll be back in 1 minute. Yeah, thanks everyone for being patient over here as we are learning about a great Ethiopian rabbi. It happens to be his Hilula here at the moment. So thanks everyone for being patient and waiting, and welcome everyone to our community over here as we are exploring the history of a famous Kes, great Ethiopian rabbi, leader of his time. So yeah, you're all welcome to be here and enjoy. And as we're going to say more words within regards to him, remember, we've spoken about 10 Ethiopian rabbis already here in this series. And if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please subscribe over here. Okay, so I think it was come out 1983, as we said before. Bishnat Taf Shin Mem Gimel, that was Amad Barush Kvutsa Shel Yehudim. And he was like the head of, let's say, a group of Jewish people. Shechala et masa'am el Eretz Yisrael. They would actually travel to Eretz Yisrael. Derech Sudan, as I mentioned before, they would actually travel through the country of Sudan over there. So what we mentioned also before, Shanim Elu Hayu Shanot, but Sorot Ethiopia was a time period, let's just say, within regards to difficulty, let's just say, in Ethiopia. So it was a time period of a drought in Ethiopia. And this would result, if I'm not mistaken, שבעתיים, החלה מלחמת אזרחים עקובה מדם. באותן שנים נהרגו באתיופיה 8 מיליון בני אדם ברעב ובמלחמות. So what would be a very torrid and sad time itself in Ethiopia. There was drought, there was a civil war that began during those years. About 8 million people were killed in Ethiopia in famine and in wars. And various different dangers would actually, unravel at that stage in time, which was very, worrying. בשל הסכנות שארבו להם בדרך, התארחו בדרכים בכפרים יהודיים. לבסוף בשנת, I think, תש"ן מ"ו, come out the year 1986, הגיעו לגבול סודן. They would actually reach a border of Sudan. נאספו על ידי הצלב האדום, הוכרו כפליטים ועברו למחנה סוף וח. So, if I'm not mistaken, so let's state what we're saying over here in English. So, we could see that there was a lot of, they would reach in 1986. The Sudanese borders were collected by the Red Cross, recognized as refugees, and transferred to the Suffolk camp over there at that stage in time. So that will be very interesting. More will happen. 1987, Tafshin Mem Zayin, Kes Elias Mahart, Zacha Ba'ala Eretz Yisrael. He would finally come, the great Rabbi would, Rabbi Elias, to the land of Israel, who Shahab Melkaz, Klita Kiryat Yam. He would be situated, I think, more in the Kiryat Yam area. He will eventually go to the city of Hadara, but Ba'ol La'aretz. Hitmala Libo, his heart was filled. Hidrakshutra Ba'al, Hatgash Shmut, Chalom Hadorot. Within regards to this generation, how they come in. But I think he was a bit sad with regards to, let's just say, the situation of spirituality, of let's just say, and the religious situation inside the country. It was probably not what he hoped it would potentially be. And I'll continue what it says here, just using actually the Haimi website over here as a let's say, as a reference within regards to this class over here. So I'll thank them in advance. It continues in saying, Kes Elias Mahart התקומם על כך שגורמים בממסד הרבני בארץ לא הכירו ביהדותם של יהודי אתיופיה ודרשו מהם גיור לחומרה. So what happened at that point in time was quite painful, I think, for some of the Ethiopian Jewry when they actually came and made Aliyah in itself. I think he was very upset that elements in the rabbinical establishments in the country didn't recognize, let's say, the halachic Jewishness, let's say, of the Ethiopian Jews. I think it was demanded on them to convert lechumra, like a strict, let's say, just conversion, just besophic, let's just say, if it's right, in doubt. It was because of this. I think in 1990 he would join another rabbi at that point in time. Let's say what it says over here in Hebrew. B'shel kach b'tafshinun. נרתם לפעולתו של חכם חיים דוד שלוש, רבה של נתניה. He would join together with the rabbi of Netanya, Rabbi חיים דוד שלוש, לעריכת אילנות היוחסין ולבירור סדר הדורות של יהודי אתיופיה. So I think they would go over there at that point in time, and the rabbis, they were looking at, let's say, or compiling genealogical trees and clarifying the order of generations of Ethiopian Jews. That was, I think, around the time period 1990, if I'm not mistaken. Then come on, 1995, Tafshin Nunhe, Ava le Rishon LeZion. He would actually move at that stage in time to the famous area of Rishon LeZion. וגם שם הנחיק את הקהילה, lead the קהילה, the congregation. ועסק בצורכי ציבור, באמונה, will help with regards to faith and for the congregation's needs. And I think he passed away on the 24th of Kislev in the year 2003. And he was buried, if I'm not mistaken, in the burial plot in Rishon LeZion. אין בידינו כתבים מדברי תורתו. I don't think we've actually got his own book per se. עלינו על הכתב דברים שנאמרו משמו על ידי בנו. I think he had a son, Kes Elias Mahart. And I believe that was his son's name. Hopefully we'll speak about him one stage or another, but I think he would actually pass his things on to him. Lona Guyu di Ethiopia, Likro Betu'at Rab. This is what I'm just saying, what it says in the Haimi websites at the moment. אנחנו קוראים בתועה, זה בכדי לייצג את האדון ומנהיג, כפי שהיה מעמדם של חכמי העדה. That's what's actually stated over there. Let's explore a few of the highlights from some of his teachings over there. I think from his son, if I'm not mistaken, maybe other rabbis also contributing. I think the Devarim Shneimru Mishma, I think came from his son, Rabbi Kes Sami. I think yeah, very interesting. He would teach Melamed Shebana Ba'atzmo Yet LaKol Kibbutz Beit Knesset Mishel Atzmo. That's very nice teaching, I believe. Just to give over the first one, another teaching says Melamed Letzet LeDerech Shu Yitbarach Yodea HaDerech Yerushalayim, talking about the centrality of Jerusalem over here and the importance of it, especially when one is traveling or going on the way. Another teaching says Melamed Letzet LeDerech Shu Yitbarach Yodea HaDerech Yerushalayim. Once again, speaking about the topic of Jerusalem, and yeah, that's very, very interesting, friends. Okay, and just to give over a couple more teachings. Okay, anyone tuning in live, welcome to our community, and we've got fantastic content here for everybody. That's something I will definitely have to point out in of its own self. So he says, so I think this comes. Actually, I'm not sure the page itself, but another nice or important teaching, you can say. Another teaching states of Melamed Shelo Yishna Bishmirat HaMitzvot Av Et HaMagba'at Lo Yorid. This is another teaching. I think very much this comes once again through his son, and I'm not too sure the exact page, but one last teaching here inside the book, just to wrap it up. Melamed Lavoda Lishmura Shechid Lako Chelkat Hadama. Very important teaching. I think that's once again printed from his son, and a very, very important Torah colossal work in of itself. And we've spoken about various different great rabbis, I believe, from Ethiopia already, possibly at least maybe 10 or maybe, I don't know, maybe 12, but that I'm not too sure about in of its own self. So there's a lot more that we can state, research within regards to this great rabbi. He was very famous of his time, and yeah, we have to try and join the community as we're learning every single day. Lots of great Torah content. That's something that we have to point out over here. Very important Torah content over here. So it's yeah, it's something very, very special. Let's speak about a few of who are the Ethiopian rabbis, just to go on a concluding note, because many people might be listening to this and won't know how many great famous Ethiopian rabbis there were over here. There was Kes Hadna Tekvia, I pronounced his name correctly. He lived quite a long life, about 97 years, till 2020, quite recently. Rablika Kahanat Kes Brahan. I think he lived between 1898 and 1984. Another one, there was named Rabbi Kes Abba Yitzchak Yasso, who he lived between 1900 to 1995, I believe. Then Kes Ailon Menashe Adon Itzio. He lived between 1933 only till quite recently, 2018. Also, Chacham Kes Elias Mahart, who we mentioned about before, passed away in 2002. Rabbi Kes Bidgalin bin Nasai, 1915 to 2004. He was like a head rabbi, if I'm not mistaken. And I think, yeah, very interesting. I think also Rav Menashe Zmara, if I'm not mistaken, from between 1906 to 1980, and Rav Kes Sabahu Baruch. Yeah, I think that was in the year 1908, actually on the 3rd of Av, if I recollect. So very interesting. As we explore the history of a famous rabbi again, and yeah, happens to have like very strong Eastern European, let's just say, brilliance to him, and was really, really able to progress at a great premium level. That's something I will definitely point out over here from the start. Now, friends, we're a community here. We're exploring the life of various famous rabbis of yesteryear. If you descend, as we said before, from any of the rabbis, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information. If you didn't subscribe yet to our community, please subscribe. Please smash that subscribe button now and join us all for free. And we try and perpetuate great wisdom, let's just say, of yesteryear and how important actually that is. So I really, really appreciate that as we have learned about a great rabbi of Ethiopia, not the first rabbi we've spoken about, but probably not the last also. Rabbi Kes Elias Mahart, one of the great rabbis between 1931 to 2002, as we mentioned about before, and really inspired many people. So I think on that note, I wish you well. Have a fantastic day. And thanks for watching, and blessings. Thank you. And please don't forget, once again, to subscribe to the YouTube channel as we're nearing 8,000 subscribers now. So thank you very much and have a great night.